Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving deep into something that could completely change your life. The way you see yourself. What I'm about to share isn't just theory or feel-good motivation. This is about rewiring your brain to unlock potential you didn't even know existed. Right now, you're living inside a story. Every day, you wake up and step into a narrative that you've been writing about yourself for years. Maybe it goes like this. I'm not the type of person who succeeds. Or, good things don't happen to people like me. Or, I'll never be able to change. But here's what's fascinating. That story isn't real. It's just a collection of thoughts, experiences, and beliefs that you've assembled over time. And if you built it, you can rebuild it. Think about this for a moment. Two people can experience the exact same situation and walk away with completely different stories. One person gets rejected from a job and thinks, I'm not good enough. Another person gets rejected and thinks, that wasn't the right fit. I'm getting closer to finding what is. Same situation, two entirely different realities. The only difference? How they chose to see themselves in that moment. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture a graveyard, but instead of headstones marking the dead, these stones mark buried dreams. Here lies the business I never started. Here lies the relationship I was too scared to pursue. Here lies the person I always wanted to become. This graveyard exists in every person's life. Dreams that died not because they were impossible, but because we convinced ourselves we weren't worthy of them. We looked in the mirror and saw limitations instead of possibilities. But here's the truth that successful people understand. The only difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's how they see themselves when facing challenges. When Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no good ideas, he could have accepted that story about himself. Instead, he saw it as one person's opinion, not his reality. When Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty and faced abuse, she could have seen herself as a victim. Instead, she saw herself as a survivor with a story to tell. There are two groups of people walking through life right now. Both groups have dreams, goals, and desires. Both groups face obstacles, setbacks, and failures. But their outcomes are dramatically different. The first group sees obstacles as evidence that they're not meant to succeed. When they fail, they think, see, I knew I wasn't cut out for this. When someone criticizes them, they think, they're right. Who am I kidding? When things get difficult, they think, maybe I should just accept my limitations. The second group sees obstacles as training grounds. When they fail, they think, what can I learn from this? When someone criticizes them, they think, is there truth here I can use to improve? When things get difficult, they think, this is where I get stronger. Same obstacles, same failures, same criticism, but completely different responses because they see themselves differently. Your identity, who you believe you are, is the most powerful force in your life. It's more powerful than willpower, motivation, or even talent, because everything you do flows from who you believe you are. If you believe you're someone who starts things but never finishes them. You'll find ways to sabotage yourself just before success. If you believe you're unlucky in love, you'll unconsciously push away good relationships. If you believe you're bad with money, you'll make decisions that keep you broke. But when you change your identity, everything changes. When you start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, you naturally complete projects. When you see yourself as worthy of love, you attract healthier relationships. When you see yourself as financially capable, you make smarter money decisions. The key is understanding that identity isn't fixed. It's not something you're born with or stuck with. It's something you can choose and shape every single day. Every day. Life presents you with experiments. Each challenge is asking you a question. Who are you going to be in this moment? And your answer, not your words, but your actions, is writing your identity. When you get knocked down and get back up, you're writing, I am resilient. But here's what most people miss. You're always writing your identity, whether you realize it or not. When you give up at the first sign of difficulty, you're writing, I am a quitter. When you avoid challenges, you're writing, I am weak. When you make excuses, you're writing, I am a victim. The beautiful thing is, you can start writing a new story today, right now, in this moment. One of the most powerful tools you have is your ability to reframe situations. This isn't about lying to yourself or pretending bad things are good. It's about choosing the most empowering interpretation of events. Let's say you start a business and it fails. You could see this as evidence that you're not entrepreneurial material. Or you could see it as expensive education in what doesn't work, making you more prepared for your next venture. Both interpretations are true. Both are valid. But only one serves your growth and future success. When you change how you interpret your experiences, you change their impact on your identity. And when you change your identity, you change your actions. And when you change your actions, you change your results. One of the biggest threats to positive self-perception is comparison. Social media has made this worse than ever. We're constantly seeing highlight reels of other people's lives while living in the behind the scenes of our own. But here's what you need to understand. Comparison is the thief of joy and the killer of dreams. When you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, you rob yourself of the motivation to continue. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you becoming more of who you want to be? That's the only comparison that matters. Remember, everyone you admire was once where you are now. They had doubts, fears, and setbacks. The difference is, they didn't let those things define their identity. Changing how you see yourself isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Just like physical fitness, identity fitness requires consistent effort. Start each day by asking yourself, who do I want to be today? Not what you want to do or achieve, but who you want to be. Then let that identity guide your actions. When faced with decisions throughout the day, ask yourself, what would the person I'm becoming do in this situation? This simple question can transform how you respond to challenges and opportunities. End each day by acknowledging the evidence of your new identity. What did you do today that proves you're becoming who you want to be? Celebrate these moments, no matter how small they seem. When you change how you see yourself, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of everyone around you. Your new energy, confidence, and perspective inspire others to examine their own self-perception. Your children see a parent who doesn't give up. Your partner sees someone who believes in possibilities. Your colleagues see someone who faces challenges with courage. You become a living example that transformation is possible. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't need permission to see yourself differently. You don't need to wait until you've achieved something to feel worthy. You don't need external validation to believe in your potential. The person you want to become already exists within you. They're just waiting for you to give them permission to emerge. That permission starts with changing how you see yourself right now, in this moment, regardless of your current circumstances. Your past doesn't determine your future unless you let it. Your failures don't define you unless you decide they do. Your current situation doesn't limit you unless you believe it does. Every moment of every day, you're making a choice about who you are. You're either reinforcing old patterns or creating new ones. You're either staying stuck in old stories or writing new chapters. The beautiful thing about being human is that we always have the power to choose. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter how stuck you feel, you can choose to see yourself differently starting right now. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending problems don't exist. This is about recognizing that you have more power than you realize, and that power starts with how you see yourself. The world is waiting for the person you're capable of becoming. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. Start seeing yourself as the person you want to become, and watch as your reality begins to shift to match that vision. Because the truth is, you don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. Change how you see yourself, and you change everything. If this resonated with you, I want you to do something right now. In the comments below, write one thing you're going to start believing about yourself today. Make it public. Make it real. Because when you declare who you're becoming, you take the first step toward making it true. Don't forget to like this video if it helped you see something differently, and subscribe for more content that will challenge how you think about yourself and your potential. Hit that notification bell, because transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you consistently expose yourself to ideas that expand your sense of what's possible. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Don't let them down.